From the Watchbox Studios, this is On Point on Watchbox with Cynthia Hardy.
Good morning and welcome to On Point on Watchbox. It's a pleasure to bring you the show each and every week, and we do hope that you take the opportunity to tune into the radio show On Point with Cynthia Hardy, heard every Sunday evening, 6 o'clock, 101.3 on the Big DM. Today on Point on Watch, church outreach during the holidays and beyond. Recession pain has hit widely and deep among South Carolina churches, driving down contributions and limiting budgets. Meanwhile, pleas for assistance rose sharply in 2011. A national survey of Protestant pastors in November by Nashville-based Lifeway Research found that 70% reported increased requests from people outside of their congregations for assistance. However, 28% reported raising less money than last year. Many churches, like the ones represented today, will tell you they are doing more with less. So what's the plan? While most churches have some kind of holiday project, how are they meeting community need year-round? I'm sitting with Brian McConkey from Watchbox News, and Brian, as the holiday season grips us all, it's such a joyous time, but we are so reminded of those that are in need this time of the year, and this year especially seems very tough.
It does. Last year too, but we're hearing that it's even worse this year. And I'm glad you raised this one point, is that it's not only now, it is year-round. We've got to think about helping folks, not only around the holidays, but every month of the year, because people are facing some very difficult obstacles right now. Even the folks that extend the help are facing their own obstacles.
That's right. And when we first talked about this subject, you and I, we talked about the fact that churches are called upon to do more, and the pressure is on for them to do even more. There are voices out there that are saying, where are our churches? We need our churches to do more. So we thought it would be a good idea to look at what we're doing during the holidays, year-round, and to ask that question, what else do we need to do in terms of community outreach? It's hard to talk about community outreach in the Midlands and not talk about what you guys do. Robert Keeter over at St. Peter's, thank you for being here with us. Same with you, Pastor Jamie Graham at St. John Baptist Church. You guys, for the past 12 years, have been doing yeoman's work as well, particularly around the holidays. So I wanted to start by asking you about the projects that you currently have underway. In your case, Mr. Keeter, you guys, I think very recently, Brian and the newsroom covered the big Thanksgiving thing that St. Peter's did, along with some other churches.
First Baptist, downtown First Baptist, Dr. Wendell Eastep and Monsignor Leela Hockey came together along with a few of us and decided what we two main churches downtown could do for the community on a larger scale. We were already providing a Thanksgiving dinner at St. Peter's. We agreed on the menu, we agreed on who's going to be responsible for what, and that was 21 years ago, and we had the 21st at the Coliseum, and I think we carried about 932 meals out to some various nursing homes and some low-income housing projects, the infirmed, and then I think we fed over 1,100 at the Coliseum that morning. Wow.
I mean, that's just tremendous, and you've got something big planned for Christmas.
Christmas is our this is the climax. This is the crescendo, is building, it's building, it's building. We're out there trying to raise a few dollars, like you mentioned earlier about the economy's down, so the dollars have to be spread out, hopefully through all these faith-based churches and organizations that are here with us today. But yeah, we're going to do the big dinner on Christmas morning at St. Peter's from 11 to 1. Last year we fed 703. This year we're expecting between 700 and 800. Wow. Last year we had 83 little ones come in from the shelters and from their homes. Prior to that year we had 53, but we're ready for them. We're going to be giving out these bags that I just purchased from Bloomstein's. We got 700 of them, and each bag is going to have a hooded sweatshirt, a thermal underwear, 2 pairs of socks, gloves, wool hats, boxer shorts, and a bag of toiletries for all the adults. And for the little ones, we're going to have stockings that are provided by people in the community, full of all kinds of toys and goodies. And Santa actually this year is going to have a surprise for the little ones, but I'm not able to say right now what that surprise may be. But I can rest assure you, when they see it and grab it and hold on to it, they'll be just like, I'm glad we came to St. Peter's for Christmas morning, because Santa's a wonderful little guy.
How about that? You know, over at St. John, Pastor Graham, when you hear about the need, as you evidenced by the fact that what St. Peter's has been doing for years, and how many years has?
26.
26 years. You for 12.
Yes.
And I know it was a response to the need in the community.
Right. Definite response to the need in the community, especially the homeless this time of the year. We know that most of the time they're the forgotten ones. and we try to reach out to them and make sure that we meet their needs.
The challenge in making people, though, respond to the need extends well past the holidays. How do you try to send that message to folks who can help give back to some of these people? Is that where maybe some of the difficulties come in, making sure that they remember them even in the month of June, July? It's not only December, right?
Yes, it has to be beyond December. We saw that need, and we tried to rise to the occasion of trying to develop a food pantry. And we have a food pantry that serves year-round. Each week on Tuesdays, we allow his families to come in, and we try to meet their needs as far as the feeding. And we're in partnership with DSS and Corporative Ministry and Harvest Hope, and we try to meet those needs on a weekly basis.
You know, Brian, the point that Pastor Graham is making is one that I would like for Mr. Keeter to also respond to, and that is feeding a person is one thing, which is wonderful, but there are a myriad of issues that they have to often overcome that leads them to the current state that they're in terms of their homeless situation or their need situation. How do you guys handle that?
Well, we're just a small faith-based Catholic church in downtown Columbia. And the reason why we're so centrally involved in this is because we are where we are, and that's where a lot of the neediest of the needy and the homeless want to migrate to. And that's why we've been doing it for so long. It's because the church has been there for hundreds of years, and our ministry's been there 26 years. But we have a lot of people that come in, and they're very transient. They come into town, they're down on their luck. They're looking for a faith-based church to try to, you know, give them a helping hand up, not a helping hand out. And for us at St. Peter's, it's just a matter of actually trying to do all we can in the time frame that these people are in our midst. And we feed every third Saturday at St. Peter's. And so it's a year-round ministry, but there's a lot of organizations in Columbia like Salvation and Transitions now and at Oliver Gospel who actually take these folks off the streets and transition them back into the workforce. St. Peter's, our church, doesn't have the capability or the manpower or the budget to do that. But there are organizations within the community that actually are staffed to do that, and they have the funds to do that. We're just somebody there in the corner of Taylor and Assembly Street that just wants to help whoever knocks on that door, rings that bell. When Loretta answers the door, she'll address it, and she'll call me, come to the door, I'll bring them in, we'll sit and we'll talk, we'll pray together. I'll tell them what we got going on at the church that week or that month, and welcome them to come down and join us. And in most cases, they will. Like Christmas morning, every faith-based organization, probably other than Trinity Cathedral, early Christmas morning, and then St. Peter's, are all going to be gone and closed their doors to be with their families and loved ones. St. Peter's will be bringing in and acknowledging all the forgotten ones. I came down from West Columbia one day, 26 years ago, driving my car to the Mass at St. Peter's on Christmas morning, and I was just noticing all these folks that were just walking around, and it looked like to me like zombies, and it looked like there was destination nowhere. And the following month we had a meeting, our group at St. Peter's, and I said, we got to put an end to this. And that's when the meal became a reality, and it was from that point on, it was destination St. Peter's instead of destination nowhere.
How about that? We're going to continue our conversation because I'd love to hear, in addition to your year-round efforts, I know that you also speak to the spiritual needs of the people that you serve as well, and I'd like to hear about how that works year-round. So when we come back, we're going to continue our discussion on church outreach and community need. Brian and I will be right back.
You're watching On Point on Watchbox with Cynthia Hardy on Columbia's own Watchbox.
Welcome back to On Point on Watchbox. Today, Brian McConkey and I are talking about church outreach during the holidays and beyond. There was a recent survey that shows 70% of our churches reported increased requests from people outside of their congregations for assistance. We're asking Brian, what's the plan, especially when, you know, we see so many churches with holiday projects, but what is beyond?
And the demand is so much higher.
That's right. Demand is so much higher, as we're told by Mr. Robert Keeter from St. Peter's Catholic Church and Pastor Jamie Graham from St. John Baptist Church. Each of you have outstanding efforts in the community that reach out to those in need. You've got a satchel here that you're going to have 700 of them, and they're going to be stuffed with
hooded sweatshirts, thermal underwear, boxer shorts, 2 pair of socks, a wool hat, a pair of gloves, and a big old bag of toiletries We got 700 coming next week from Red Bank Baptist.
All right.
They're going to provide 350.
That's
Our
good.
Lady Segali is going to provide 100. Mount Hebrew is going to provide some, so they're going to be helping us stuff the bags.
So your guests that will be there with you on Christmas morning, as they leave, they will receive this stuffed with all kinds of goodies.
Yeah, when they come in the door, they're going to get a raffle ticket, and then they're going to have lunch. We got to give them lunch first. And that's a prerequisite. You got to sit down, let us pray with you, let us give you lunch, and then you take your little coupon around back in Gibson Hall, and they'll greet you with a bag and a big old hug and Merry Christmas and God loves you.
That's really great. You know, I know it warms your heart as well as far as your congregation is concerned. Do they get involved, really big involved in the thing that you guys do?
Yes, they do.
Because you have hundreds as well that come to your thing.
Yes, they get involved real good. We serve about 600 to 700 people that day, and we do something similar to St. Peter's. We do give them a care packet as they leave out of the doors. But we do have some strong partnership too that help us, and the Eau Claire Baptist Church, the Greenview First Baptist Church, Christ Central, Palmetto Health, Walmart, the Omegas, all those folks join in to make the load a little bit lighter, and so that we could make our dollars and our services stretch even longer.
Well, in these kind of times, these difficult economic times, there's definitely that physical need that you are doing a great job of addressing, and I'm sure you'd like to do more, but people need that emotional and spiritual lift too. And what kind of opportunity is there for that as well, to give them that support?
Well, during that particular service, we do have a worship service, and we feed them the Word of God. And then, of course, after that service and during the meal, we do a one-on-one consultation with many of them. And then, of course, again, during the run of the year, we have our food pantry. And on those Tuesdays, we definitely try to meet their spiritual needs by praying with them, and also trying to give them Bibles so that they can their spiritual needs can also be met.
How much, the community has a tremendous expectation of churches, and I know you know that. Sometimes it must seem as if the more you do, the more is expected, but it's very much tied into the mission of what it is that you do. How will you respond to this tremendous need that we expect to see in 2012? You've seen the headlines. Just in Richland County alone, the poverty numbers have soared. There's so many homeless people, so many people who are disconnected spiritually. Do you all feel a particular responsibility to take care of those needs in our community?
We feel strongly about our responsibility of taking care of the needs of those in our community. But we also realize that we cannot do it all. That's why we build partnerships within the community to make sure that we all can lift the load together. And those partnerships, again, DSS, Cooperative Ministry, many others, that we try to help bridge the gap and lift those needs so that we can meet those needs in a profound way.
Mr. Keeter, what can people like Brian and I do?
Pray. Let the Holy Spirit take your heart and lead it to a direction that it will take you, and continue to allow these kinds of interviews will get the word out. People will hear it. They'll pray about it in front of their TV, and hopefully they're going to positively respond to that, what they witness. But it's a tough world out there. I mean, the calls that we get at St. Peter's, for example, this is the first year in 26 years that I've been manning a phone over there that I actually got a call. I think it was 2 calls this year for help with foreclosure. Not rent. You know, I expect rent calls, and I expect utility calls.
Right.
And this is where a lot of our churches work together in terms of helping a case where you got a $900 utility bill and you got 2 kids in the background screaming, and this young lady needs some help with the utility bill. When St. Peter's doesn't have $900. But collectively, amongst all these ministries, we can call and get that woman's $900 bill paid for. So it's just not just the homeless. There's a lot of working poor out there that really need help with their rent and the utility bills, the pantry, groceries, and each church has a certain responsibility, and they have a certain reputation, if you will, on what they provide. And the people out there, they know where to go to get what they need. Oh yeah, you know, call this church, call that church, whatever. And but it's an effort by all the churches that are in the community that truly come together and make that difference.
And that's going to have to be the last word. Thank you very much,
Thank you,
Jamie Graham, Pastor Graham from St. John Baptist, and thank you so much, Robert Keeter from St. Peter's Catholic Church.
Doing good work.
When we come back, we're going to talk to Judge Mildred McDuffie. She's over the outreach effort at Bethel AME, and Stephen Singleton. Pastor Stephen Singleton is at Grace Heritage Ministries. We'll hear what they're doing as well. Stay tuned.
You're watching On Point on Watchbox with Cynthia Hardy on Columbia's own Watchbox.
Welcome back to On Point on Watchbox. Brian McConkey and I today are talking about church outreach during the holidays and beyond. The recession shows that our churches have been hit really hard.
Like
Brian,
everybody, yeah.
That's right, like everybody. And what has occurred is our churches are taking in less and the demand is greater. And so we're asking our churches what they're doing during the holidays and beyond.
And how we can get involved.
And how we can get involved. Pastor Steve Singleton, sorry about that, is here with us from Grace Heritage Ministries, and thank you very much. And thank you to Judge Mildred Weathers McDuffie for being here as well.
Quite welcome.
And you are, of course, representing Bethel AME.
Right.
Each of you have tremendous efforts that are going on in the community. We'll start with you, Judge.
Okay, we have Bethel Bishop Chappelle Apartments, and it's run by those 3 churches. And what we do is we try to make sure that we meet the children's needs at all times. And right now, I just went to Walmart yesterday to get them gift cards.
Oh, wow.
And we will present them to them next Sunday. And we also have a service out there every Sunday, full church service and Sunday school. And it's run by Bethel.
Okay, so you are ministering to the needs of those people year-round.
Right. Not only their physical need, but also their spiritual needs.
And what about you guys at Grace Heritage?
Well, we feed the homeless twice a month with the Restoration Project at Finley Park. We also have an outreach ministry with a rehab project here in Columbia, but we're not at liberty to tell you who they are. But we have those ongoing. And then during the holidays, we adopt families. We've adopted 5 families, because my church is not the largest in the world, but we divide our congregation into units, and each unit has adopted a family. And actually, it's interesting during this time of the year, because one of those families, they're not concerned about Christmas gifts or anything. They need furniture, they need basic necessities, and those are the kinds of things we do throughout the year, because of course a lot of the benevolence falls off after the holidays, and it's our goal to keep it going all year long.
Yeah, I've seen the same kind of thing. Personally, I'm very involved with some of the families at the Ronald McDonald House in Columbia, and they need those bare
That's one of
necessities.
our projects.
Little children aren't asking for toys or Xbox games. They're asking for a pair of pants, a pair of shoes.
That's one of ours too. Ronald McDonald.
Just want to
and Tucker
pose
Center.
that question: is how much harder is it this year for you to do what you do?
Oh.
Well, basically what we've done is we've adopted the theory that we'll take 10% of our giving, and that'll be for benevolence, and whatever size that is, that's what we have budgeted for outreach. So it's not more difficult. You do what you can.
Yeah.
What you pray for is that for all faith-based organizations, churches, to do their part, and prayerfully you reach as many as you can, just by doing what you can.
Same question you, Judge McDuffie.
Yes, we have a budget. Our outreach program has a budget at the church, and we are very frugal with that budget in making sure I have a method of interviewing the folks that come forward, because we have a lot of people that come from the community, not in Bethel, but outside, and we want to help as many as we can, but we want to make sure that it's a real need, and not that they are not trying to get something for nothing.
As we wrap up this segment, and thank you guys for your participation in our show today, could you say something to our audience, those who are out there watching you who have the ability to give and maybe have not given?
Well, interestingly enough, that's one of the passions of my ministry, because a lot of people don't realize that we feel better about ourselves when we help somebody else, rather than take the poor me or the what's in it for me stance on life. You look for people whom you can help, and really, it's a real spirit lifter when you can help somebody else. And I hope and pray that everybody would catch that spirit and do something for somebody else.
You wrote a book about it too.
Yes, you did.
Judge McDuffie.
And the same thing with us. people don't have to come to the church to find somebody to help. There are people around you that need help, and all you have to do is help. And it's very important that you just help, and you will feel better about yourself.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Judge Mildred Weathers McDuffie, and thank you so much to Reverend Steve Singleton. When we come back, we're going to talk to Marnie Robinson from Brookland Baptist Church about the things that they have going on and the things that they've got going on year-round as well. But you heard everybody today, you guys.
Get involved.
Give. We'll see you in a minute.
You're watching On Point on WatchBox with Cynthia Hardy on Columbia's own WatchBox.
Welcome back to On Point on WatchBox. Brian McConkie and I are talking about church outreach and the community need. And as we have been talking to churches, Brian, the need is great. And
there's a lot of good stuff out there, though.
There is. Contributions are down, but there are a lot of good-hearted people that are doing a lot of innovative things to try to make ends meet.
Yeah, they have to right now.
For a lot of people.
This is a hard time. The people that are administering the help need just as much assistance to make sure they can still do it. So
Absolutely.
we have to ask ourselves what we can do at this time, too.
You know, and the case in point, you know, we've got Marnie Robinson here, and Marnie represents one of the larger churches in the state, Brookland Baptist Church. But as Brian is saying, even though our churches are large, there's so many people in those churches that maybe you wouldn't even think that need help. Now they do need help. And so it's really important that even as we look at something that we think, you know, they'll be fine, we still have to make sure that we have the resources and the programs that are out there to help them be fine.
Absolutely, and we've been doing this for a number of years. I've been a member for 25 years, and for 25 years, all I've known is give. That's our responsibility to the people who need. And so we do things year-round at our church, but especially at the holiday time, at Christmas time, we have organizations that adopt families. And to see the smiles on the kids' faces when they come in, they have no clue that they're getting what they're getting. And it's our opportunity to give back to the community. Our soup kitchen, we service in the fall and in the spring, you know, every Saturday, giving back to the community. One of the things that we were talking about earlier off camera was the fact that people really don't know about the opportunities that are out there, and we actually try to do a better job of getting the word out. You don't have to pay for these services. These are services that are offered to the community.
Yeah, it's probably something that holds up a lot of people from reaching out. They think that there's something, a hook attached to it somehow, a catch, you know?
And for a number of people, new people who are in that needy way these days. In years past, they have been people probably on the giving end, and now they're on the receiving end. I'm wondering, are you seeing that, and how are you dealing with that when you do see that?
When we get a call, we have to answer the call. It doesn't matter if you've been on the giving end before. Now you're on the receiving end, and it's our responsibility to the community, to the people as a church, as members of the Christian faith community. It's our responsibility to take care of the needy.
And that was so much what we wanted to do with this show, is to talk about Christian responsibility and whether or not our churches should be doing more. So Marty, I do want to ask you, do you feel, as much as you guys are doing at Brookland, do you feel like you could and should be doing more?
We could be doing more. That's always the answer. You always can be doing more. One of the issues that may come up about churches doing more is, like you said earlier, the giving, the tithes and the offerings may be down. So then you have to do innovative things. You have to think outside of the box, how to meet the need of the community. And one of the things that we've done is we partnered with the post office, and we've become their donor for a food drive.
Oh, wow.
So we, in the springtime, we do a major food drive, and we fill an 18-wheeler, top to bottom, front to back, full of food. So all year long, that stuff is available at our food bank.
That's really great. You know, and the reason I asked you that tough question is because, you know, too much is given, much is expected, much is required, and honestly, I know that the economy is showing signs of recovery, but it's still pretty darn bad.
It's a long way. It's a long way from being where we need it to be.
Yeah, and there are a lot of people out there with a lot of need, and when you look at what we've got going on year-round, there are a lot of things that are out there, but we anticipate that the need will continue to grow. So I guess what I'm saying is great people like you and the others that we've seen on the show are going to have to be braced to do more, and oftentimes with less, because giving is down. But you know, it does help to see the resourcefulness of people like Marnie and others that reach out to the giving organization. So congratulations on what you do, Marnie.
Thank you, and congratulations on what you do for the community.
Well, thank
because
you.
It's so important that people see the people giving.
Well, I appreciate that.
And don't be afraid to call for that help if you need it.
That sounds right.
No embarrassment here at all.
That's right. Well, Brian and I say thank you guys for tuning in today, and that's it for this edition of On Point on Watchbox. Happy holidays. You are headed home. Where are you going?
I am going to Massachusetts for a little while over the holidays.
Oh,
so hopefully the snow's not there.
Safe travels to you and to Ariel as well. You guys, thank you for watching. Happy holidays to you. Send your comments to onpointwithcynthia.com. We believe when you're informed, you're empowered. Once empowered, you're on point. We'll see you next week.